Hey everyone, in today's video we're diving into Azure Business Continuity Center and why it's a game changer for customers that are managing backups, disaster recovery and protection across your Azure and hybrid environments. I tend to think of Continuity Center as a one dashboard for managing those backups, the replication, all the policies and compliance across those workloads all in one place. You can also look at the unified monitoring. You can see here, you can track particular jobs, certain reports, look at the alerts that are connected to your disaster recovery solutions. And then down here, you can look at the security posture of your vaults, as well as the policies that are attached to Azure Backup and Azure Site Recovery. A couple of weeks ago, I done a session on Azure to Azure Site Recovery, and one of the things that I mentioned was that you need to figure out is which critical resources you don't have backups or replication set up for. So if something does go wrong, whether it's an outage, a cyber attack, or just a simple mistake, those resources need to be recoverable in either a secondary region or a third party, which would mean that you're not losing any data. And that's really difficult for a lot of our customers who are trying to figure out which resources are protected versus the ones that aren't protected. And that's where Continuity Center comes in. So as you can see here, I'm in Continuity Center. If you're looking for the tool, you can look up here and it should, in the search bar, give you the Business Continuity Center. When you go into it, it will give you a list of the resources that are protected here. So I have 602 Azure virtual machines sitting in there. And then it gives me protection status of how protected they are. Now you're thinking, is that backup or Azure Site Recovery? I have it selected here all. So in Azure Backup and Azure Site Recovery, you can obviously pick and choose what it is you're trying to discover. The data source is what resource you want to get that information on. For example, if it's Azure Blobs here, you would go and search for your blob storage. But in this case, we're just going to leave it at Azure Virtual Machines. And we can also filter based on resource groups as well as subscriptions. So this is really useful for me to figure out, okay, I've got 602 virtual machines. Which ones have got, for example, Azure Site Recovery enabled? And straight away, I'll see I've got 2 virtual machines set up with both primary and secondary regions. And I can go in here and see both those machines have got disaster recovery enabled, as well as you can see here, they've also got backup enabled as well. So this is quickly really sort of give me that data in a couple of seconds. I could potentially export this to a CSV and then send it to our internal teams and get more information on what resources we actually need to set up disaster recovery on. If we go back to our overview page, we think of protectable resources as resources that are not protected by any solution, i.e. backup or Azure Site Recovery. So we want to make sure that we want to have a detailed information on which resources have got what enabled. If I click into the protection status, it's going to list me the virtual machines here, and you can see Azure Backup has been configured on the majority of them. So straight away, I know that these virtual machines have not got disaster recovery enabled here, so it's not protected in the secondary region. If I've seen a particular machine here that I think this is a production workload, if the primary region goes down, we need to have a secondary region set up. We can go in here and we can go in and enhance the protection on that particular workload. If you wanted to do that at scale, you can go in and configure protection here. And obviously Azure is going to be the resources managed by. We're choosing virtual machines here. And then the resource that we're going to look for is Azure Site Recovery. If we click continue, it's going to take us through the enable replication piece and then the replication settings. I've already went through that on the video last week. So if you want to get more detail on that, you can watch that video. So we're not going to go through it on this video. So straight away, we found out what machines have got backup and disaster recovery enabled versus the ones that really don't have it enabled. When we're in here, you can see up at the top, we have the option to recover. So basically we have that, it basically lets you recover the protected items straight from Continuity Center, like restoring backups, performance failovers or test failovers in here as well, which is really useful. We have the option, obviously, to choose specific columns that might be relevant for what we're looking for. It might be a specific resource group or resources in a particular location. You have that option up there as well. If we move on to the monitoring and reporting, so in the alert section within Site Continuity Center, you can keep an eye on critical backup and disaster recovery events, and get real-time information from Azure Backup and Azure Site Recovery based on the custom alert rule metrics that you've put in place. So straight away, I can see there has been three alerts configured. It gives me a really nice breakdown here. If I want to see the alert that has a warning on it, I can click that little button there and it'll give me a breakdown of what resource it's on. So it's on a SQL and Azure VM. You can go based on the last 2 weeks, for example, and you might only want to look at alerts triggered by on Azure Backup. So you've got the granularity to go in here and see what alerts have been triggered versus the ones that maybe you need to create up here. You can go up here and create alert rules straight from the Continuity Center as well. So there's a real flexibility on it. Jobs, you have the option to track all the jobs from Azure Backup and Azure Site Recovery in one place. So if you've got multiple vaults, for example, this is really useful. So you're not clicking back and forth from different vaults. And you can filter, you can dive into job details by clicking the three little dots down here, viewing the job. And obviously you can see it was a snapshot. But what's more important is looking at any field jobs. If I go to select all here, hopefully there's a field one in here. And you can see it's the enable replication on these two machines field. And I want to get more information on why that actually failed. And in here, it's going to give me a breakdown of what actually failed within inside that replication piece, so I can go and set it up correctly. So straight away, I've got all the information I need with regards to my alerts and any of the jobs that's happening for my disaster recovery and backup solutions. We have reports here as well. Reports is really useful when you're trying to get insights or any data based on your backups. So here there's workbooks pre-configured and built that give you data on how your backups and disaster recoveries is actually performing. So also down here you can see your ASR job history and get detailed information on the data that's actually happening in the back end there. If we go to security posture, Azure Backup offers built-in vault level security to protect all the data that you've currently got backed up and covering both the vault settings and all the protected data sources that you've currently got enabled. Within Site Continuity Center, you can check the security status of each of the protected items that you've got enabled with inside the view here. So you can see here the security level that I've got set up on these three resources is show me poor. If I want to go in and view more details on that, I can see it's basically giving me a detail that I need to go in and update the vault security. And if I go down here, yeah, you can see the backup configuration needs updated. There's multiple variables that need to be configured here. So without the Continuity Center, this potentially could have been missed. And now I can go and do what's needed to make sure it's the security level is up to scratch. So this is really useful when you're managing multiple vaults. You can go up here and filter on all the subscriptions as well. So that's where this tool really comes in handy, that you can get a complete bird's eye view on everything that's going on inside your environment. And then all the policies that's linked to disaster recovery and backup are in here. So you can go in and set them up and also check the compliance of the ones that you've currently got enabled. So in a few minutes, we've really found out quite a lot when it comes to the resources that are not protected versus the ones that are protected within inside our environment. You also see the option here with Copilot, so you can get more insights on your BCDR estate. You also will be able to get help managing that estate as well. If we load this, Copilot's going to come into play here a little bit. And for example, we want to look at show the security level of our data sources. And you can see here it is give us the security level of 55 of our data sources is poor. It also gives us more options and go and dig deep into those data sources. So how can improve the level of security on those resources. as well as giving us the list of those resources as well here. So you can see it's given us a list of those 55 resources where the security level is poor. So this is a useful tool. It needs a little bit of managing. When you use it, it does get smarter. So hopefully this is useful. You can see we've got quite a bit of information on the resources that are protected versus the ones are not protected. So hopefully this was helpful.